Gemini. This is your October 2023 soul story. If you have a sun rising or your moon is in the sign, you might find this resonates for you for the month ahead. It's Romy. I appreciate you joining me, taking the time to tune into the channel. We're going to open up this month with the card of the Lovers, which does connect to your sign, Gemini. Everything begins with an initial spark, a thought, a seed, an idea, a feeling. And as we give it power, it can become an unstoppable force in our life. And there's something that you are uniting to, aligning with, investing or devoting your energies towards. And you'll make a promise to yourself. And you won't go back on it because it's rooted in a desire to improve your circumstances, to follow your passion and not the expectations of you. And that sense of intimacy that you can have with what truly matters, to you, but also the way in which you are then able to communicate and express that to the most important people in your world is incredibly transformative in October, because it creates this dynamic that's almost like all or nothing. And I just see your willingness and your desire to be all in, because there's no more half-hearted, there's no more half-truths. And so as Mercury, your ruling planet, moves into Libra on the 4th, we're out of shadow of the retrograde. So there's a sense of clarity, there's news and information now flowing through, especially pertaining for some of you in regards to specific relationships, but also helping with choices and decisions that you have to make. Now you feel more informed. Now you feel more capable and able through the month of October to just kind of get a true read and measure on things. There's improvement with your mental clarity, with your physical energy levels, with creative ideas and solutions that can be supportive for you at this time. But the choices that are coming are not necessarily a surprise to you. They've been kind of waiting in the wings for some time, and you knew this day was coming, so to speak. So the vision is emerging, and it needs your investment. It needs you to advocate for it, to believe in it, to trust it, to own and embody it. It also needs a healthy amount of delusion as well, because that's what it takes if we're going to be bigger and bolder with what it is that we want for ourselves in our life. Judgment arrives with a sense of inevitability about the direction that something's taking. You may not have all of the information, and you may still be sort of leaning into what feels like a slightly uncertain pathway or future. And yet at the same time, this is a time when we are on fast track, fast moves, fast outcomes. And, what comes from this is an opportunity to have a complete transformative rebirth in an area of your life. The hard things that get done today, i.e. in October, are going to be so gratefully received by your future self, because the landscape is changing and you know that you need to adapt personally, but also out there collectively. Now on the 8th, Venus finally comes out of Leo after this extended stay into Virgo. Our love language becomes acts of service. It's not just what we say, it's what we do. Now on the same day, there's this very charged standoff between Pluto and Mars. Bit of a showdown energy, to be honest. Sort of feeding into that feeling of judgment. And, you may well make the decision, and this is where this kind of all or nothing might surface. Even though it can feel a bit hostile, it's kind of necessary because it helps facilitate you breaking free from something. And what I want to say in regards to that, as it sits next to the Lovers, is that, someone's going to surprise you. So if there is a specific person where a key conversation needs to take place, where things finally get to be aired, they're definitely going to surprise you with what is said, what is committed or promised. My question is, are you ready for that? Sometimes the investment that we put into things, into people, takes a little time to return to us. Sometimes that can be worth the wait. But sometimes in the wait we have changed irrevocably. We have evolved so far beyond what our original desires and intentions were that you might pause for a moment and actually think, is this what I really want? There is a wild card feeling to October. It's electric and charged. We're in eclipse season. And the Wheel of Fortune is bringing you new opportunities. You're going to be balancing and navigating like multiple things on the table. And, you can absolutely adapt to this. But what you need to try to do is engineer yourself into a position where you are able and ready to give yourself permission to follow whatever feels good for you. Not what's expected of you, but what feels good for you. Creating a life that can feel unedited so that you don't have the pressure of the filters of the way that you think you need to be showing up. So never mind how things look, how do they feel, Gemini? Because if they feel good to you, you're going to be far more likely when fate steps in and synchronicity lands in October to say, hell yeah, that's for me. And understand what that means, what that's going to ask of you, the choices and decisions that might underpin that. Mars is going to shift into Scorpio on the 11th. And you'll get very narrow in your focus there. And there will be an intensity and this laser-like precision with, what it is that you want to commit or bond or align to. Now that's the day after that Pluto stations direct in Capricorn. And this is like the final lap of us working with this cycle. So if we don't know now the ways in which we want to change our life or what no longer resonates or feels good to us, we're in danger of staying in that cycle for a very prolonged period of time, and that's not what's meant for you. So you're in this preparation time for this whole new way of being, this way of doing, to start fully emerging and integrating into your life. And I think there is this sort of requirement to face it this month, face something, face someone. It won't be as you'd expected it to be. There'll be a sense of relief that, in all honesty, will far outweigh any procrastination or resistance that you may have felt trying to avoid it. The new moon solar eclipse lands on the 14th. And in Libra, 21 degrees, this beautiful ring of fire, it illuminates the demands that exist within our relationships and also the desires that we have and how we manage those two. And over the next couple of years, it began in spring of 23, it goes right through to spring of 25. We're being asked to let go and to stop accepting what doesn't serve, the patterns, the codependency. Now you have some stress that emerges here because, when change is asked of us and we step out of our comfort zone, even if it's wanted, even if it's like I can't bear to be in this particular dynamic any longer, it still takes something from us where we feel into that uncertainty and we have those doubts and we can apply that pressure to ourselves. But listen, this is a month where there is so much energy moving, constantly churning, but it can also be harnessed and leveraged. And that's what you need to hear, because 3 majors opening up your reading says destiny is speaking right now. And it's bringing you into contact and harmony with something that is a perfect match for you, perfect alignment. And it's going to shift your life. It's going to alter the direction. It's going to move the compass. And it's going to create opportunities where there haven't been any. So where you have felt that stuckness or stagnancy or looked over, or you felt like something just hasn't opened up for you in the way that you'd wanted or expected it to, that's all starting to happen. But the stress is understandable because it's like, whoa, am I ready for this? Or it's not kind of quite how I anticipated it was going to be happening. But that's okay. We have to move with this energy. Let this rhythm carry you. There are months where we ask questions, and then there are months that deliver answers. And October is going to be a month of delivering us answers. Answers that maybe we didn't even know we'd ask the question to. Answers that maybe we don't necessarily want to hear. And ones that we have been waiting for what feels like an infinity. World, there is a completion point that's arriving for you through October. And there's an intensity that comes with that. You know, sometimes when we're coming out of one cycle and there's like still loose ends that are around us, it can just feel incredibly challenging to be able to kind of bridge those two worlds and to let our energy find some sense of groundedness. And it might be a little bit tougher for you to ground your energy through this month of October. But at the same time, something comes to fruition here. Something is coming to a point where you can see tangibly the progress that was made, the investment that was put in. And this gives you an opportunity to respond in a number of different ways. And what's being asked of you is to respond in a way that says, okay, I take the lessons learnt, I celebrate the success, I celebrate the accomplishment or all that is around me. And also I continue to invest in this vision that's now emerging and needs me to believe in it and trust it and embody it. So as we come into Scorpio season, and the opportunity for you as Mercury shifts into the sign on the 21st and the Sun on the 23rd really feels like going to another level, going to the next level. So there's a progression that's very marked for you through the course of October. I think that will give you some peace of mind and some validation in some ways. So in whatever area you were expecting to see that progress, it will show up really powerfully. And remember, there are warp speed sort of manifestations taking place through eclipse energies. There's also, big news and events that are happening. So even though you may have a clear plan on what was important or what you were meant to be focused upon, the universe might have a different one for you. Now, your 7 of coins here again talks to me about this investment. You see, investment is returning. It's harvest season. Okay, you're also in your 6th house through Scorpio season. So the more you take care of yourself, body, mind, and soul, the more you're able to see the benefit of that showing up in the interactions and the relationships that you have in your world, but also in the things that you're applying yourself to and where you want to be seeing direct results coming in. There are a lot of outside opinions in October coming towards Gemini. But you yourself are walking in your shoes on your pathway, and you must trust in what you are arriving at and where that's coming from and what that's been shaped by, because nobody else can truly understand or comprehend that. Now, some of you have offers and invitations that again are going to feel incredibly surprising, especially connected to work and career, maybe job opportunities, interviews, promotions, things that you're working on to then create new sources of networking or doors opening. There's a lot of things coming back around to you with that 7. But you're still in this sort of almost energy of processing and deliberating and kind of figuring out. But maybe October says you don't have time. You need to make some swift, fast decisions this month. And again, that could be a little bit of a cause of some of this stress coming through. Now let's talk about what happens at the end of the month. Okay, we have the lunar eclipse in Taurus coming on the 28th, 5 degrees. But this is the final showdown. We started this story in November 2021. And, over this period, your sense of security has been challenged, but you have learned lessons, and this is the opportunity to find closure and resolution. So you know how this has been impacting you, the way it's been triggering you. This is how we manage this experience energetically. We look at it right in the eye and say, what are you here to show me? What have I learned? And what are the adjustments and changes I am now ready to make in my life? Now be aware, this lunar eclipse comes in with some really hard aspects with Mercury and Mars and Jupiter. So we have a sense of exaggeration happening. We have drama coming. We have everything being amplified. And, you know, that can create, again, some churn. But sometimes that, from an energetic perspective, is good because it's like all the balls get thrown up in the air and then we see all the opportunity and it kind of creates more space. But at the same time, you know, it can also bring that showdown feeling. And because there's an extra intense pressure to find completion, to draw a line, to let this chapter close, there's a finality to this that we can feel into on a deeper level, that you kind of understand this is all or nothing. It's now or never. Okay, now we do have a little bit more of a level-headed intervention with Saturn, thankfully, helping us to turn things around if they get a little bit wayward and out of control. But bear in mind, this will be quite a powerful climax, not just to October, but also with this soul story that we've been working on since November 2021. So just after that, to add to the conversation, we have the celebration of Halloween and Samhain. Of course, this is an intense time energetically. It gives us the opportunity to connect beyond the veil, and what we experience in our heightened intuition, our psychic awareness, you know, is also incredibly powerful. We have to be so aware of our energy management at this time. So please be extra protective and, you know, grounding and clearing and cutting cords and just being really vigilant on what you're doing and who you're connecting to around that time. But on the same day, we have Venus trining with Uranus, unexpected surprises coming in, directly hitting around prosperity, money, your sense of value and how that's been recognized, your love relationships. And, you know, this is, again, another wild card. So it's like the surprises keep coming this month. Just when you thought, okay, you know, this is where we land. This is me kind of having found solid ground beneath my feet. There's another little tornado energy coming in, but this time more positively. You know, that lunar eclipse could certainly feel dramatic, but this Venus trining with Uranus gives this beautiful upside. But be under no illusion, the intensity with which we close out the month of October, you know, is really just a testament to the kind of crazy wild ride that we'll take all the way through the month. But if it's harnessed and leveraged, then it creates for you an unstoppable force. And this can have a direct positive impact on all areas of your life, but you have to hold your nerve and you have to follow through and you have to be really clear on your intentions that sit behind that. If you're new to the channel, Gemini, our last 3 cards we cover in the extended version of my reading. So we speak for another 30 minutes or so. We'll go deeper into this month, and we'll also look at a personal question and a relationship card for you. So you'll find the link for that in the comment and description box underneath. I do hope you'll join me if it's resonating. I'm just going to go ahead and clarify these cards now and see the direction that we will be taking for this main reading for you. So looking at the Lovers, we've got the Chariot. Look at all these majors showing up. It doesn't surprise me. Like I said, destiny speaks in October. Justice, another one. Okay. 4 of Cups. 5 of Wands. And we've got the Moon coming through here. All the cards I use are listed below for your reference. And if you follow my soul guided meditations, this month there is a eclipse activation as well as a journey to connect with your spirit guides. So again, check those out over on my website. We've got the 3 of Wands with the Wheel of Fortune. I love that combination. 6 of Swords. It's like a rite of passage for you. 6 of Pentacles coming through here. then Knight of Pentacles, Knight of Cups. Okay. What about the world? What do we have? Three of Swords. Five of Swords and the Sun. Beginnings and endings. They can just feel bittersweet, right? But that energy of the sun bringing such warmth and vibrancy and creativity. Seven of Coins brings the Four of Swords. King of Swords, Five of Pentacles, and the Empress. Okay. Alright, let's pull some oracles, Gemini, see how they want to join this conversation for us. So this is Life Soul Vision, which is my own personal deck. If you're new to the channel, again, please take the time to check it out over on my website. Along with my other sacred title, Moon Musings. We have the Guide and the Gift. We have Maverick of the Light, Dancer of the Shadows. Labyrinth of Sweet Surrender. Waves crash and stars fall. Throat energy. And we've got Spirit Bear, ancestral protection. Beautiful. Okay. Let's pull from a couple more decks. These will be messages for our extended reading. We have Guardians of the Land, protection. And finally, for Gemini, happy family. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to wish you a beautiful, blessed month of October. I hope you'll join me for the extended and check out the soul guided meditations and my sacred titles. And I will see you again next time. You take good care.